Brazil, and then to Sokel, Seva Ashram. We had very grand festival there with many, over 200 devotees were gathered there. And so many classes and activities, all organized by Shripad Tyagi Maharaj, and Madhusudan Maharaj was there, and Janardhan Maharaj was there. Devashish Prabhu came from London, from all over America. Devotees came, and devotees who had not come in many years, they came to participate. So it was something, it was more than many persons were expecting. It was more successful and more grand than anyone was expecting it to be, including myself. And there was some austerity. Many devotees were camping, and we were sharing between so many people, sharing just a few bathrooms and a few showers. So some austerity, but everyone happily accepted, or maybe sometimes a little unhappily accepted austerity. But they would not change their decision to be there, and everyone tolerated that austerity for the opportunity to be there, to participate in that. And then there was also a day out to San Francisco, and we had a meeting at San Francisco, what is it called? The Golden Gate Park. We went across the Golden Gate Bridge, and also we had a little program at the Golden Gate Park, where Srila Prabhupada used to go. Many times he went there. There's a small little hill there in the park, and everyone calls it Hippie Hill. And actually there was a man there. There was a small group of drummers, like this drumming, sitting there, and one of the men, he was quite an old black man, drumming, and one of our devotees spoke to him, and he said that he was there when Srila Prabhupada was in San Francisco, and that he met Srila Prabhupada, and he participated in the first Rath Yatra that took place in San Francisco. And Srila Prabhupada went there many times to that park and did kirtan there. And there wasn't, now it's closed down, but Srila Prabhupada, that was the first place on that part of America that Srila Prabhupada opened a temple. And there was a lady there. She wasn't able to speak to us, but she came for a little bit. And she's a friend of Swarnangi Didi. And she told Swarnangi that one devotee called Jayananda, maybe you heard about him. He was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada called Jayananda. Very, 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 very special devotee. Srila Prabhupada said he was a pure devotee. He was American, but very, very pure-hearted and very dedicated. And he used to do all kinds of humble service. But anyhow, he had some special feeling for Lord. They had deities of Lord Jagannath and Baladev Subhadra at the temple there, and Jayananda was there, and sometimes he would just spontaneously take Jagannath out. Normally you take Jagannath out on Rath Yatra day, but this devotee Jayananda, sometimes he would just spontaneously take him out, And so one morning Srila Prabhupada went to the temple room, and he saw Jagannath was gone. So he asked the devotees, what happened to Jagannath? And they said, oh, Jayananda took him out, And he'd taken him to that park. And so Srila Prabhupada said, okay, then we will go, And so they all went to the park, and they had some kirtan there with Lord Jagannath. And this lady, she also lent us, while we had our program, this very small pair of kartals that Srila Prabhupada, he'd used when he was there. She lent them to us, and Janardhan Maharaj played them for a little bit. It was very nice, and everyone was so inspired, and There were quite a few initiations, 9 initiations. 4 of them were friends of Shama Mohini Devi Dasi. She brought them with her from Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah. Like, teenage kids, in high school. They, and nice, conscious people, intelligent people. They took initiation. And Vaidehi also brought some friends from Los Angeles, very nice people. Some devotees also came from Tijuana, and from all parts of America, from Miami, from Florida, from New York City, from everywhere, from Las Vegas. Oh, it was very, very happy festival. And we had some very special programs at Gurudev's Samadhi, his Pushpa Samadhi. For many of us, that was the highlight, We did the inauguration program there, and then one also after that. And Srila Gurudev's presence is very, very strong there. In the whole ashram, but especially at his Samadhi. We don't like to say, oh, we're feeling something, but everybody universally, they feel Gurudev's presence there. Very, very mystical, very, very strong. He chose that spot. He chose that spot. After I leave, I'm going to come and sit on that tree. And he used to always, because from his veranda, he would watch. He used to watch. It's like directly opposite and above, higher. That this tree, it was like in Gurudev's line of vision from his room. And he used to, the children always used to play there. And so Srila Gurudev used to like to sit and watch the children playing in that spot. And it was very charming while we were having the program. Some of the children, they were inspired to climb up that tree. we thought it was very appropriate. We had some grand aritis there, full congregation of devotees. Every morning arati, but especially on those days, some grand arati. Okay, so we're continuing with Srimad Bhagavad-gita, and I've been told that you concluded with chapter 2. And now we've come to chapter 3. Oh, so we want to listen to Gurudev. You're paying your dandavats.
Yes. This is her own way of doing it.
Well, I'm sure Mahaprabhu is very happy to receive your heartfelt dandavat. This is actually proper dandavat, because dandavat means like a stick. So ladies, actually, we don't do dandavat.
She started doing it after seeing Maharaj after the arti.
It's actually a natural feeling to want to do that, just like full surrender and offering of oneself. It's not, we can do it in a very mechanical and artificial way, but actually it is something very natural to want to put your head at the feet of, a worshipable person. Expression of adoration, love, and respect. Okay, so we're going to hear Srila Gurudev chanting Bhagavad-gita. So we're beginning with chapter 3, Karma Yoga, the path of action. So I don't know how they've been doing it, but the way I usually do it is we listen to Gurudev chanting a verse and then we repeat it together, and then we go like, we read the translation and we go like that.
तृतीयोऽध्याय कर्मयोगा अर्जुन उवाच जायसी चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि निघोरे मं नियोजयसि केशव.
Okay, so we'll chant together. Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana. Come on, let's chant together.
Okay, together.
Yeah, together. Okay, we start again.
Let's start.
Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani gode mam niyojayasi keshava. Do you want to read the translation?
Arjuna said, O Janardana, O Keshava, if you consider wisdom superior to action, why then do you urge me to engage in the violence of warfare?
I'm going to say it again just for the benefit of our virtual audience, because your voice is very soft. Arjuna said, O Janardan, O Keshava, if you consider wisdom superior to action, why then do you urge me to engage in the violence of warfare? Okay, we can hear the second verse as well.
व्यामिश्रेण वाक्येन बुद्धिमोहाय शिव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्त येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्.
Okay, we'll read together. Yamishene vakyena buddhimohaya shiva me tadekam vada nishchitya jena shreyoham apnuyam. I am confused by your words. They appear to be ambiguous, sometimes supporting action and sometimes supporting wisdom. So please tell me which is the most beneficial path for me to take. Okay. So, would you mind to close that door? No. So we've just finished the second chapter. In the second chapter, it's sometimes described as a summary of the whole of Gita, because Bhakti, karma, jnana, and Bhakti, they are all presented in the second chapter. It's not that it's only like some of the chapters they're particularly focusing on karma, jnana, or Bhakti. This chapter is different because it is covering all these three paths. And so now Janardhan is saying, like, it seems like you're telling me different things, It's a little confusing. And I looked at the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, which is very, very nice. And he has very nice commentary on these verses. So he explains that in this first verse, when Arjuna says, if you consider wisdom superior to action, and when he says wisdom here, the word is buddhi. You might think he's talking about jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge, but he's not. This word buddhi, he's actually wisdom. He's actually referring to bhakti here. And there's one of the famous verses in the second chapter. Krishna refers to vyavavasatmika buddhi, which means one-pointed intelligence, or wisdom. This is what bhakti is. It means intelligence fully fixed on the Lord, on the satisfaction of the Lord. This type of one-pointed wisdom or intelligence, this is bhakti. So this is actually what, according to Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, this is what Arjuna is saying here. So why are you, so he's saying that, telling, for me to like engage in fighting in this war, this like awful, violent war, this is karma, this is action. Why do you want me to do this if bhakti is the highest thing? You've indicated previously that bhakti is the highest thing. Why don't you just tell me to do that? And on that note, we can also add, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said, and I think he was quoting Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that if it was Uddhava instead of Arjuna on the battlefield, and at the conclusion of the Gita, Uddhava, when Krishna says, Sarvadharmam prityaja mamekam sharanam vraja, when Krishna says, give up everything and just come to me, if it was Uddhava, he would have left the battlefield. Another devotee at a different level of realization, they may have taken a different decision. And so similarly, like Arjuna is saying, like, why don't you just tell me to engage in bhakti, like exclusive bhakti? Why do I need to engage in something? If I know it's something lower, why are you telling me to do that? And then in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary here, he says that Krishna, he says, "O my friend Arjuna, it is true that bhakti beyond the gunas, the modes of nature, is supreme. But since that is obtained only by the mercy of my great pure devotees in an unexpected manner, it is not attained by the efforts of the individual. Therefore, I have given the blessing to you. Be transcendental to the gunas. Be transcendental to the gunas by transcendental bhakti. When this blessing matures, you will attain bhakti by such unexpected mercy of the pure devotee, as it is fitting to the present circumstances, directing you to engage in activity with the words karma nye vidakaraste, to do your duty, do karma, do action, is also valid. So you're not ready. I'm blessing you that you can attain this higher stage of bhakti, but bhakti is very difficult and you're not ready for that yet. You can only get bhakti by basically saying by sukriti, by getting that connection of the pure Vaishnava, and it will start in a very unexpected way. You happen to be able to do some service for a Vaishnava, then you get their mercy. It's depending on so many different can be very unexpected factors. So, but you're not ready for that yet. For right now you do karma, and later you will become qualified for bhakti. Okay, then we can go to verse number 3.
Sri Bhagavan uvacha lokesmini dividha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam.
Okay, we'll chant together. Shri Bhagavan uvacha lokesmin dvivida nishta pura prokta maya naga jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. The Supreme Lord replied, O sinless one, I have described the 2 paths to be found in this world. The yoga of wisdom, practiced by the realized, and the yoga of selfless action, practiced by those active in the world. Both paths touch the beginnings of devotional practice, since the ladder to the plane of devotion is one, while the practice is twofold according to the stage attained. Okay, and then in this commentary of Chakravarti Thakur, saying that these two, here in this verse, when Krishna says these two paths, he's referring to karma and jnana. Karma, the path of nishkam karma, the practice of selfless action, and jnana, the cultivation of spiritual knowledge and understanding. And so Krishna is saying, actually, these are both the same thing. It is like two rungs on the same ladder, because actually, to practice jnana yoga, one cannot go directly to jnana yoga. This is one of the specialties of bhakti, that one can begin practicing that at any point. But jnana yoga, actually, you have to go through karma yoga first, because you have to be purified of material desires before you begin to practice jnana yoga. And so to get to jnana yoga, first you have to practice karma yoga. So actually, karmis and jnanis, they're the same. There's just different levels of development on the same path. So persons of pure heart or free from material desire, they can practice jnana yoga. And persons of impure heart, full of material desire, they will start by selfless action, and then thereby they will become qualified for jnana yoga. Okay.
Na karmana manarambha naiskarmang purusosnute na cha sannasana deva siddhing samadhigacchati.
Okay. Na karma nam anaramban naishkarmyam purushosnute na cha sanyasanad eva siddhim samadhi gacchati. One cannot attain freedom from action by refraining from action, nor can one attain fulfillment by renunciation alone. So to be free from karma, the entanglement of action, reaction, you can't just stop doing anything, because that material desire still remains within your heart. So you cannot artificially go to jnana, go to knowledge. So better to continue with your action, but to try to do it in a mood of selflessness. Not to avoid your action, to jump to some higher level, but keep doing that action with a different consciousness. And then you will become purified in that way.
Nahi kaschit kharmapi yatutishtatta karmakrit karyate chavasa karma sarva prakriti joir gunai.
Okay. Nahi kaschit ganam api jatutishtatya karmakrit karyate hyavasha karma sarva prakriti jair gunai. No one can refrain from activity for even a moment. Everyone is impelled to act by the modes of material nature. Thus, the person of impure consciousness should not disregard scripturally prescribed purificatory works. And that we all know. No, it's impossible to avoid action. There's always, blinking and itching and eating and moving and sleeping and so on and so forth. The modes of anger are prompting us to act, move in certain ways. So it is foolish to artificially give up activity.
Karmendriyani sangjamma jaste manasa smaran Indriyarthar vimurhatma mitthacharasya uchyate.
Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasasmadam indriyarthan vimudatma mityachara sauchyate. Okay, you want to read that, Radhani, loudly?
One who externally restrains his hands, legs, and other senses of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, is a fool. Know him to be a hypocrite.
Hypocrite. And this verse, sometimes it's taken out of context, and devotees use this as an excuse to do whatever they want. If I don't do exactly what I want to do, then I'm being a hypocrite. Krishna says it in the Bhagavad-gita. Oh, of course, that is not what is being said here. It does not mean that we will not still try to live in a regulated, controlled and sensible way. But on the whole, that, for one to artificially live a life of great renunciation while they're maintaining so many desires within their heart, making some show of, being on some high level of detachment, renunciation, that is undesirable. We must maintain sincerity of heart. And so in the next verse, Krishna is saying, better is somebody who maybe they're married, they're actually like, they've lived in marriage because they have that desire. They've entered into marriage life, but through the practice of karma yoga, they've actually become detached from that so-called entanglement of marriage life. So that person who's apparently in the midst of so many family attachments, through the practice of karma yoga, selfless action, they've actually become detached from the desire that they had previously. So that person's actually in a superior position than someone who's adopted a life of sannyas, but they're holding so many material desires. They're actually in a lower position than that married person, because they're holding so much desire within their heart. So, according to consciousness, that person may be in a higher position than someone who is apparently in a higher position. So we can hear that verse from Gurudev.
Justindriyani manasa niyamya aravati rijuna karmendriyai karma yoga vasaktasya vishishyate.
Yaschindriyani manasa niyamya aravati arjuna karmendriyai karma yogam ashakta sa vishishyate. Okay, so we already read that translation. And we can go to verse number 8.
Niyatang kuru karmatang karmajayuchya karmana sarira yatra pichate na prasiddhe da karmana.
Niyatam kuru karma tvam karma jaya ya karmana shurira yatra pichate na prasidya na karmana. You want to read that translation loudly?
Perform your prescribed duties, since to be active is better than idleness. Idleness. Inactive persons cannot even maintain their existence. By giving up fruitive action and performing your obligatory duties, your heart will be purified. Surpassing the plane of renunciation, you will attain pure devotion, transcendental to the mundane plane.
And I'm just remembering a couple months ago, when I was in SoCal in the autumn, Chinmoy Prabhu, he's showing these nice videos of Srila Gurudev, and there was one, maybe like from 1990, maybe 92 or 93. Srila Gurudev was in Vrindavan, and one question somebody asked him there, he was saying how now we're seeing in this modern age, there's all this modern technology, but it's people are realizing how reactionary it is. You know, we have all this modern technology and convenience, but it's destroying the planet. You know, cars and everything. They all have their reactions in this world. And he said, this person, he said, and we see like with Rup and Sanatan, the Goswamis of Vrindavan, they lived in a very, very simple way. You know, they were just like, wearing loincloths, living under a tree, subsisting on buttermilk and, dried chapati, like that. Very, very simple. So should we try to live like that? Would it not be better to like try to go back to the simple life? And I was like really excited to hear Gurudev's answer to this question. And I thought he was going to say like, this whole world is just a mess. So we can, I mean, you can answer in that way, like to become too concerned about sattva gun stuff. That can be a distraction, because everything's reactionary in this world. No matter how simple you try to live, it's still reactionary. This is just like such a messed up place. We can't go on a big campaign about, saving the planet and so on and so forth, because that's just the nature of this world. But the way that Gurudev answered is he quoted this verse. Verse, one who externally restrains his hands, legs, and other senses of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, is a fool. Know him to be a hypocrite. So, to artificially live like that. He answered like in a simple, because I was thinking along the lines of Yukta Vairagya, Srila Saraswati Thakur's emphasis, engaging everything in service to Krishna. That's how I was thinking. But Gurudev, he kind of like answered it in an indirect way. Like he didn't exactly say like, like it's right or wrong, but he like kind of like went in this round zigzag kind of way, like if you can live like that and it's genuine, like then that's okay, but don't do it artificially, don't be artificial, don't be fake. And realistically, very difficult to give up all these conveniences, things that we've become dependent on, comforts, very difficult. And to the extent that it can actually be a distraction to spiritual practice, because we're just so accustomed to it. And so, to give up like it's a particular style, mode of living, to adopt some, very austere, renounced life, that would be a distraction. Then we'll be thinking about how uncomfortable we are, more than anything else. And so we saw with Srila Gurudev, he made so much facility for the devotees who would come to visit India. Made their rooms so nice, ensuite bathrooms. And showers installed. The Westerners like showers, Western toilets. He went to so much trouble to provide that facility, convenience for the rest. So then their mind will be peaceful in that department, and they can give their focus to their spiritual cultivation. Okay, so then perform your prescribed duty since to be active is better than idleness. Okay, we can go to verse number 9.
Yajñātāt karmanōnnatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samāchara.
Yajñātāt karmanōnnatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samāchara. Selfless duty performed as an offering to the Supreme Lord is called yajna, or sacrifice. O Arjuna, all action performed for any other purpose is the cause of bondage in this world of repeated birth and death. Therefore, remaining unattached to the fruits of action, perform all your duties in the spirit of such a sacrifice. Such selfless action is the way to begin devotional practice, gradually realize the presence of the Lord, and ultimately attain pure devotion transcendental to the modes of material nature, nirgun bhakti. So this verse, it's one of the principal verses about karma yoga in the Bhagavad-gita. One of them, 247, you already heard in the previous chapter, and these two verses, this verse and that verse, and maybe one or two others, they're like the principal, most well-known and quoted verses, which are describing karma yoga. And so this is quite a heavy verse, actually. Something I think about sometimes. And unfortunately, it's not. It's one of those, Sanskrit. The way the Sanskrit structure, it doesn't go well it doesn't translate so smoothly into English. So you lose it. The translation here is, you kind of lose something. But it's saying, what it's basically saying, yajñārtat karmano nyacha. Other than yajna, I mean, actually, it's pretty clear to me. I think it's just because Sagar Maharaj was defining yajna, so it's come out a bit more convoluted. But yajñārtat karmano nyacha lokoyam karma bandhana. Other than yajna, every action performed in this world is binding you. It's like a hammer on the head. So when it's saying yajna, it means, service, basically. Actually, Srila Gurudev, he's quoted one verse from somewhere in the scripture saying, defined yajna as Vishnu. Yajna vai Vishnu. Yajna means Vishnu. Yajna means something that has been done for the satisfaction of Vishnu, the Lord, at one's own expense, at one's own personal. So one is making an offering, sacrificing something for the satisfaction of the Lord. That is what yajna actually means. So so many yajnas that persons perform for attaining some end of this world, that's not real yajna. That's not a real sacrifice. It doesn't count. So anything, whether it's a fire sacrifice is it's not the point here, but any type of sacrifice, action, offering for the satisfaction of the Lord, that is yajna. That is what yajna really means. So anything done, anything that you do that is not that, it's binding you in this world. Binding you in karma. It's binding you in reactions. It's very heavy. So, being detached to how you will personally be affected by your actions, do everything in this spirit of sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord. It's very strong. And these principles of karma yoga, we can, wholly apply them in bhakti also. They transfer over very smoothly. Okay, so we can hear verse number 10 from Gurudev. Ramananda Prabhu is gone, but does anyone know how to turn this off? Yes. You know, okay, so you can turn it off if we need to, okay. That's good.
Sahayagya prajasrishtva purovacha prajapati anena prasavishaddham mesha bhustishta kamadhu.
Okay. Sahayagya prajasrishtva purovacha prajapati anena prasavishyadvam eshavo strishta kama duk. Okay, you want to move that?
In the beginning, Lord Brahma manifested the progeny of the world along with sacrifices. He instructed them thus: take shelter of this religious principle of sacrifice, prosper and flourish. May such sacrifice be the bestower of the things you desire.
Okay, so we can hear the next verse.
Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu va parasparam bhavayanta sya paramamapshatah.
Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu va parasparam bhavayanta shreya padam avapsyata. Propitiate the gods by sacrifices, and may they satisfy you by bestowing your desired fruits. In this way, through mutual nourishment, you will be the gainers of great auspiciousness. So, of course, here there's a lower idea of sacrifice that is being described. This is not the exclusive, bhakti sacrifice, which I was talking about. Okay.
Ishtalbhom hivo deva darshante jagga bhavitaha taidattana pradayayitpho jo bhunte stena eva sha.
Ishtan bogan hivo deva dasyante yagya bhavita ter datan apradayabhyo yo bhunkte stena eva sa.
Propitiated by sacrifices, the gods, my worldly representatives, will bestow upon you all your desired enjoyable things. But one who enjoys what is given by the gods without offering it to them is a thief.
Okay, we can hear one more verse.
Jagga sistasina santu mucchante sarva kilmisai bhunjate te tvagam papa ye pajantyatma karana.
Yagya shishtasina santo muchyante sarva kilbishai bhunjate te tvagam papa ye pajantyatma karanat. By accepting sacrificial remnants of the universal gods, virtuous persons are liberated from all sins arising from violence towards other living entities. But those who prepare food for their own pleasure partake only of sin. And this verse, it's mentioned here in a footnote that the remnants that are being referred to, what's being described here is a lower type of sacrifice. This idea of mutual benefit, for persons who are not ready for exclusive dedication. But you want to enjoy in this world, then at least you offer some thanks, some gratitude to those persons who have supplied all of this bounty to you. So first you offer to them, you express your gratitude to them, and they will supply you what you want. You satisfy them, they satisfy you, and you can have this relationship of mutual benefit. And then it's saying that, you'll be excused from reactions by taking the remnants of these sacrifices. You will be excused from reactions. If you were to directly take for yourself, then you will be responsible for the karmic reactions connected with that, so you will have to take sin. But if you first offer to the devas, then you will be excused from that. And so it's mentioned here in the purport that these remnants, they're not the same as Krishna Prasad. That is connected to the Nirgun plane, wholly beyond the modes of nature. That is something categorically different. So these remnants which are coming from the devas, this is something that is being referred to directly in this verse. This is separate from Krishna Prasad. However, there's also this, in many places of the Gita, there's this double reading, which is possible. And so this verse, for example, Gurudev, many times Srila Gurudev quoted, referring to the idea of prasadam, the Krishna prasadam, which we are taking now. That we want to live on prasad. We want to live on the Lord's remnants. When we cook directly for our own satisfaction, we are actually taking sin. And we do not want to do that. We want to take the Lord's remnants. So we also heard Gurudev quote this verse in a higher context than is the direct context here in Bhagavad-gita. And we're on a very gross level, but as our consciousness becomes more purified, even nowadays, ordinary people in the world, they talk about that, like the consciousness that's behind the food that they eat, right? And they have some idea about that. Even ordinary people in this world who don't know anything about these higher teachings, they feel something there. One of our some of our devotees in Brazil, who I just met, Nanda Priya and Devi Dasi, Deva Bandhu, they've moved to this. They've purchased some farmland, and so they're living in a very remote area. And they're slowly developing a relationship with some of the local people, very simple and nice, pure-hearted people. They don't have internet, very simple people. And they're slowly developing a relationship with them, and sometimes they give them, they have an altar, they're offering to Gurudev, to Mahaprabhu, and sometimes they're making some offerings and they're sharing with their neighbors. And so Nanda Priya, she told me that she made a big pot of sweet rice once, and then she shared it with some of their neighbors. And one of the neighbors, he took that and he was astonished. He said the taste of this Like, this is something out of this world, you know. And how is this possible? And then the priest said, well, you know, I made it in this special way, you know, and you know, like this much milk and this much sugar. And he was like, no, no, no. He wouldn't accept. He said, no, there's something else. There's something else. And like 2 or 3 times she was saying, well, I did this and I did that. And he kept saying, no, I don't accept it. There's something else. There's something else. And she said, well, you know, everything that we cook, we offer to our Gurudev and we offer to the Lord. And so it becomes something very special. It completely transforms it. It's no longer a material thing. It becomes a spiritual thing. We're trying to offer with devotion. And he said, oh, yes! Now, then he was satisfied. Yes, that's what it is. Now I understand, you know. Now I understand. That makes sense. But really, all these things that we consume, there's reaction there. The consciousness, the karma behind the persons who prepared those things, they are connected, and we will have to take that, you know. Srila Gurudev, we heard that he said that if there's some exchange of money, like we're buying something and we're giving money, then that will nullify the karma that is connected with that. But we have to be, everything, as Srila Sridhar said, everything is existing in consciousness, and so the things that we're preparing, we have to be very careful about what type of consciousness we're in. You know, even Srila Sridhar Maharaj has spoken about, you know, when something's being prepared and offered to the deity, and then we're going to take the prasadam, there will be some gradation of the prasad. It's not that everything that you stick in front of Mahaprabhu, it's the same level, you know, but you have to consider the consciousness of the person who prepared it, the consciousness of the person who offered it, and then the consciousness of the person who ate it, you know. That will, all of those things combined will determine the quality of prasadam, what degree of Mahaprasad this is. Of course, for a Mahabhagavat, for a very great Vaishnava, everything they take is Mahaprasad, you know. Everything they take is Mahaprasad. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he described 3 levels of Vaishnavas. At the lowest level of Vaishnava, it is best for them to take, you know, directly what has been offered to the deity. That it is best for them to take that. And then he said, a higher level Vaishnava, they may mentally offer something, and then they don't have to eat some. The lower Vaishnava, they should try to eat only what has been offered to the deity. And sometimes we see like very neophyte persons, they're very concerned that things were offered, you know, like one of our devotees, when they visited Navadvip, somebody gave them a glass of water and they said, oh, is this offered? Was this water offered? So we see that some persons are very concerned that everything, you know, if you do take some nuts have to be offered, like every little thing, they're very, very concerned, you know. But a higher level Vaishnava, and sometimes when we're traveling, we'll also do that. They will mentally offer. They receive something, they will mentally offer, and then they'll take it. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj said the highest level Vaishnava, they don't even do that. They don't even make a mental offering. They're living on such a high level of realization. It's like presupposed. Everything that's coming to them is prasadam. There's no conception of a separate entity. Everything that's coming to them is prasadam, and everything that they're doing is in service of their Lord. And so everything that's coming to them is the prasadam of the Lord. So they don't even have to do a mental offering. So I was saying, so someone, a very high level Vaishnava, you know, everything they take is Mahaprasad, whether it's a biscuit or cookie, ice cream on the street, some gelato, or it's something in the temple, everything they're taking is prasad. But for ourselves, we will try to be very, very conscious, you know, about At every stage of like preparing and offering and taking, we will try to be conscious. When we're cooking, before we start cooking, we will make that, this is all an offering to you. This is for you, Guru Gauranga. When we're offering, we will try to do so in a very conscious way. And when we're taking prasadam, we will try to take that in a very conscious way. Then it may be prasadam. One of Srila Gurudev's followers, sannyasi, he told me that he used to take prasadam very quickly. He used to eat with Gurudev, but he used to take very quickly. And one day he was sitting with Gurudev and eating very quickly, and Srila Gurudev like gently chastised him, and he pointed to Ashram Maharaj. And Ashram Maharaj, Ashram Maharaj, he's very like slow and very methodical in everything that he does, everything. So he was taking prasadam like very slowly and consciously. And Srila Gurudev, he was telling this other sannyasi, he pointed at Ashram Maharaj and he said, every drop is pure Mahaprasad. Because he's taking in a very conscious way, then he's really honoring, he's really taking prasadam. But if we're taking that in lower level consciousness, not giving our full attention, then we're not really getting the spiritual benefit of that. Because it's not a mechanical thing, it's not a physical thing, everything's depending on consciousness. So we're trying to enter that mode of living, and not just what we're eating, but everything. Whatever we get, whatever we do, we're trying to do as an offering to the Lord, a selfless offering, and whatever is coming to us, we're trying to take that as prasadam, happily and consciously accepting that as the Lord's grace in our lives. Okay, we can stop there. Jai Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Okay, so you stop that. Very nice to hear these verses. Always good to be reminded. Moments by moment we need to be reminded. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namaha.